Allah Gullah. So Prime Minister wrote a letter. Now that names have come. They wouldn't make it public. So some people went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said, give us the list. They said, no, we will not give you the list. All right, conduct an inquiry. Who got how much? Won't do that. So in disgust, the Supreme Court said, all right, then we are setting up an inquiry committee, special investigation team, SIT, under the chairmanship of a retired but very honest judge called Jeevan Reddy. And they will investigate. Now the court is saying the government is filing a new petition, review petition, saying no, you are usurping our powers. The Constitution has said very clearly, Ambedkar in his speech in the Constituent Assembly has said, when the government fails to do its duty, that time the courts have a right to intervene and substitute for the government. And that's what happened for sanction also. I asked for sanction, Prime Minister didn't reply, went to court gave me sanction. So therefore, they are now filing a review petition because they are so scared of the names coming out. Then there was one man who was a scrap collector. Well, in this country he may be called garbage collector, but in India we have a more respectable term, scrap collector, called Hassan Ali. And he had an account of $81 billion. $81 billion. Excuse me, not it, $8.1 billion, right. $8.1 billion. How could a scrap collector have an account of $8 billion? This was an ordinary income tax officer found out by a raid in Hassan Ali's house. And then he informed the finance ministry officials informed Mr. Chidambaram. Mr. Chidambaram's greed was stoked. So he sent word to Hassan Ali, you share 50-50 and I'll let you go. Hassan Ali couldn't share, for reasons I'll explain in a minute. So Chidambaram thought this man is misbehaving. So he wrote a letter to the Swiss authorities. We in our income tax raid have found such and such Swiss bank accounts in such and such bank of bank number so and so. Kindly confirm it and send us the documents. So Switzerland sent it to their courts and the courts gave direction, gave them the documents, and those documents were given. Meantime, Chidambaram was shifted to Home Ministry. Maybe because of this, they say it was 2611, I don't know. And Pranab Mukherjee came in as finance minister. The first letter he wrote to the Swiss government is, my predecessor wrote a letter in which he gave the bank accounts and their numbers. Unfortunately, there was an error in the numbers given, so I am supplying you fresh numbers of the bank accounts. They are all bogus numbers. So Switzerland immediately said, oh, no such accounts exist. And they defroze this man's account. Within 3 days, that $8.1 billion was cleared out. But Mr. Hassan Ali was in custody. How did he clear out? This means that Hassan Ali opened the account, but the password was with somebody else. So this is a new technique. Open an account in somebody else's name, and the password will be with somebody else. Now this time, recently, they found that number of accounts were given to us by Switzerland, and they were Shailesh Gandhi, Praveen Gandhi, all Gandhis. And all of them were, when the press correspondents went to these Gandhis, they were all very ordinary people. They could not have an account in Switzerland. And they also didn't, they were shocked. How come our name came? So obviously some Gandhi has got the password and put it all in these names. Of course, there are other difficulties. Sonia Gandhi's sisters are still Italians, citizens. Sonia Gandhi herself is, but have not yet got the records. If you NRIs want to know what you can do to help the fight against corruption, please go to Italy and get those records. Or employ a private detective to go to Italy. You have the resources, you've got the capacity, and you've got the reach. We in India who are fighting corruption would like only information. The Americans have a lot of information, but they're not sharing. The American Fort Meade, you see, near Washington, that has a computer which records every bank transaction in India, in the world. And they have buzzwords. So, supposing it says something, says Osama bin Laden, immediately it will give you a printout. So, all the data is there with the Americans. But the Americans, why should they cooperate with you? The Americans are not going to cooperate on merit. It has to be a give and take. They think that the Indians are not serious. And they are not serious. They can't be serious. Because all of them have accounts. If I had an account by now, they would have sent me to jail. But I don't have. That's why only fakirs can fight India, fight corruption in India. That's why we need Ramdev, we need Anna Hazare, such types of people who the whole world knows don't have anything. They may try anything, but nothing gets stuck. Nothing can be pinned on them. So I'm saying that this amount of money, how much is abroad? Some say $500 billion, some say $1.5 trillion. But one of my Harvard students became a chairman of one of the Swiss banks, and he told me, but for Indians, our bank would have financially collapsed a long time ago. I said, why? Because they bring so many accounts. He said, no. They count, they are so insecure, they don't even leave a beneficiary name, and they die and the money becomes ours. So in this situation, we can correct corruption at all levels. There was a time there was so much corruption in railway reservations. Once the railway reservations became computerized, all corruption in that is gone. It used to be a great harassment. Every ticket conductor had to be cajoled, given money to give you a reservation, or the ticket clerk at the counter. But today there's none of that. In fact, you can get on your mobile with your, what is your waiting time and when will it be confirmed, or if it is confirmed, you will get a SMS alert. So that has happened. There are areas which were used to be corrupt in India are now clean. Now the real place where corruption has been cleaned is at this top level. The other things will automatically get cleaned up by example. You see, one of the things is, in the short run, to cure from corruption, you can have laws, but they must be enforced. On 7th January 2008, there were two press conferences which came one after the other. One was a press conference in Hyderabad addressed by Ramalinga Raju of Satyam. He said, I have done fraud with my accounts and I have salted away 7,500 crores. I am ready to face any punishment. And I hereby resign from the chairmanship of Satyam. That's a confession. Around the same time in New York, a gentleman by the name Bernard Madoff held a press conference saying that I have sinned because I have defalcated pension funds in Ponzi schemes. I am ready to face any punishment. I am ready to accept any punishment as an atonement.